All right, good morning. We're gonna go to lesson C now. So third part of this Arduino series, and we are going to make use of a new component. So far, in A we learned how to use the light. In B we learned how to use the button. Right? So that's awesome. But there's more that we can use. Right? So we are starting with the easy ones and moving to more complex ones. And when you learn one, don't forget the previous one because we're gonna work them together. We know how to use the light, we know how to use the button, and we're now gonna add the rotary. So this again is a input, and it's on A0. Yeah, so this is the first analog component that we're using. So the difference between analog and digital is, with digital, it's either off or on. It's either 0 or 1. Like the light, it's either on. Oh, it's not on there. Ah, sorry. Gotta change to the other one. Cohen board. No, just the board. There we go. There we go. So with the I gotta show you this one, right? I'm gonna show you this one. Right. So with the light, it's still. Hello. Are you guys joining the lesson? Can you have you joined? You really just see. Okay. So with the most of you should be joining lesson. Okay. With the light and the button, these are digital inputs. So it's either 0 or 1. So the light could be either off or on. The button could be off or on. This rotary, you can turn to the very left, you can turn to the very right, and all the value in between. In that case, it's analog, right? That's why it's connected to A0, and inside this board, it's connecting to the other side of the rail. It's gonna connect to this zeros pin in the analog side. Let's take a look at the code. All right. So in the sample code, you have this. Let's go over the sample code a little bit. So in the sample code, we're gonna need this variable to let the computer know which pin we're using. So we're using LED pin and the rotary pin. Notice I didn't put buttons in there, but if you want to add button, you should refer to the previous in part B, how to add buttons, right? So in this case, LED pin, rotary pin, and we have this rotary value. This is a variable. It's probably the first time you've seen variable if you've never coded before. Anyways, this is responsible to say what is the value of it, okay? With the button, we also have a variable to save the status of the button, either 1 or 0. But in this case, this number is gonna be more than 1 and 0, okay? We should see. In setup, I need to let it know that these two pins, what are they, input or output? Let it know, okay, pin mode. Then in this loop, I have a rotary value. So this is how I detect the position of the wheel, right? Either I'm the lowest or the highest, what is it? And when I read it, I could use that rotary value to do something. So if you remember, this should be apparent to you what they are. This is turning light on, this is turning light off. We did that in part A and part B. Delay determines how long it stays on or stays off. Here I'm putting the rotary value in here, so that number is gonna change, and therefore the speed of the light is gonna change. Not the speed of light, the speed of it blinks is gonna change as well. So let's copy the sample code to the Arduino software, and we should see. Okay, so we'll show you this part. Okay, so Arduino software. I'm gonna just erase my old one. Again, if you want to keep your old code, you can always name it and save it and retrieve it. In this case, I'm not interested in doing that. I'm just gonna use the same board. I need to upload this. Before I upload, I'm gonna check either I'm on USB 1 or not, okay? So tool port says USB 1. Now I can upload it. Okay, so it's doing upload. Looks like the upload is done. So let's take a look at the board as what it's doing. Right, so I have this rotary is now coded, and that speed is now paired up with the light. So I'm all the way to the left-hand side. So it blinks like that, about a second per blink, right? And I can turn it halfway, maybe halfway, and then start to blink quite fast. Okay, it's going on and off quite fast. I think the camera is a little bit delayed, but it's actually blinking quite fast, on and off. Okay, and if I turn it all the way to the other side, it's blinking so fast that I can't see it fully die down. All right, so that's what your sample code is doing, and you can see it's working. Next, I'm gonna ask you to modify the sample code. You gotta understand the sample code in order to modify it. All right. Then moving down, you got serial monitor. So what serial monitor is? I have. Return to the browser, and there we go. Now, I have it reading, and it is using it right away, but I don't really know what the number is. With the button, I know it's either 0 or 1, but I have all the numbers in between, right? I need to know what that number is. I'm going to use the serial monitor to help me do that. It says put this code in the setup, so I go and put this code in the setup. I'm going to put that code in the setup. So inside setup, just paste it in, okay? And then when I want to read it, this is inside the loop. Okay, so I wanted to output the rotary value. Again, if this seems to be a little bit of a race, go back and see. Right, I'm gonna paste this right behind this line because this is when I read the value from the board. I save it to here as a variable. When I have that updated, then I can print it. Print it where? There's something called serial monitor. So this is I'm gonna go tool, bring up the serial monitor. Okay, so it's going to print that value on the board for me. Let's upload so that it updates. It should be printing something. Right, so if I turn this all the way to one side, that number is 1023. That's as high as it goes. If I turn it all the way to the other side, that number is 0. Okay, so that is its range. It goes from 0 to 1023, right? That's the rotary. Okay, so that means that I am using that number to delay it. So it could be as fast as 0, or as fast as 0, as slow as 1023. It's going to be used in here and there. Moving down, I'm going to go to the browser view. All right, so moving down, part 3, you want to modify the code so that it does something to simulate a traffic light. When you see a traffic light, there are a few more, right? When the light, well, usually you have 3 different colors: red for stop, and green for go, yellow for hurry up, right? If you only have one light, can you make it a traffic light? So here we are trying to say blink slowly for go, blink fast for go faster, right? So that would be our yellow light. And it's just stay lit if I wanted to stop, right? So if you see a solid red light, it means stop. If you see a blinking, it means go. And if blink fast, it means yellow light, all right? So how do I do that? So in order to do that, you got to recognize that we got to modify our sample code. The delay would not be rotary value anymore, but you still have on and off, right? So you're going to have on and off code going into here and here and here. In case you don't remember what if and else are, they provide you with different version of code. Previously, we've seen them, which is just if and else. So you got version 1 and version 2. You can have 3 versions. So I have version 1 for rotary greater than 300, version 2 for that value greater than 700, greater than 300, and else. So the result of this would be from 0 to 1023. If that number happens to be more than 700, it's gonna do version 1. If that number is in between 300 and 700, it's going to do version 2. Everything else is going to do version 3. Okay. Now I have separate this value into 3 different chunks. It's going to either do version 1 or 2 or 3. What codes that go into here would be the on and off codes. Would be the on and off codes right here. All right. And instead of doing rotary value, you're going to put in a set number. Okay. So if you want to blink faster, it's going to be, I don't know, 300. If you want to blink slow, it's probably going to be, what, 1,000 for 1 second blink. If you just want it to stay on, you just need that line. So it stays on, right? So put different lines into different versions. Version 1, version 2, version 3, and that should be it. Right, so you're going to copy this structure into your Arduino, and it's going to basically put it here, right? Make sure we align this. This should be 1 tap in because this is inside a loop. And what do we do here? I no longer need this code. Okay, so this is to comment it out. We go forward start forward to make those not codes. So the computer is not going to run those anymore. But you still need to turn on and off in here, turn on and off in here, and for here just turn it off. Just turn it on. Alright, so hopefully that makes sense. If not, go back to the recording, and I'm gonna stop the recording here.